I'll just discuss a couple of things before we go on to types of reactions, which we are supposed to start today. These may find relevance in this chapter at some point. There are some off points which I have brought, I wanted to discuss, or they will find relevance in other chapter. But in this chapter also, you'll get some relevance. Okay. I was talking, I'll get into types of reaction. Let's talk a little bit about hydrated salt. You might not understand this right now, but just try to absorb hydrated salts. You know, water of crystallization like .H2O. So like say suppose I have copper sulfate CuSO4 dot CuSO4 is 5H2O if I'm not wrong. Yes, 5H2O. Yeah, 5H2O. 5H2O. Now you will come across this thing in metals and non-metals, even in acid, bases and salt, and partially in this chapter also. These are called, copper sulfate is a salt. This is a hydrated salt. Hydrated salt means salt which has got water of hydration in it. Usually, hydrated salts will always be colored in nature. Colored. Right. This will help you in your future classes also. Avoid a red pen when you write. Red is the poorest color to be picked up by the human eye. Colored. That means that if you have copper sulfate which is anhydrous, say CuSO4, this is called anhydrous. Anhydrous means it does not have water of crystallization. This 5H2O is known as, this portion is known as water of crystallization. Whatever I am teaching you now, we will be reading again in metals and non-metals and acid, bases and salt. This is known as water of crystallization. If you don't have water of crystallization, this salt will be white in color. Are you understanding? What is the color of copper sulfate? Copper sulfate is coral blue in color. That's why copper sulfate is also known as blue vitriol. Absolutely crystal-like blue will be the color. So if you see blue copper sulfate, that means what you are watching? You're watching copper sulfate hydrated. But if the copper sulfate is without water of hydration, then that will be white in color. Okay, hydrated salts are colored. Again, there is a small thing out here. Not all. If the salts are copper, nickel, cobalt, if they are salts of this element, these salts in hydrated form will always be colored. Remember this. We will need this. These will be colored. However, if you see hydrated salt, generally say group 1, group 2, group 3, let's say a hydrated salt, Na2CO3 dot 10H2O. This is sodium carbonate decahydrate. Deca stands for 10. Now this is sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate dot 10H2O. The common name for this is washing soda. Washing soda. If you pick only Na2CO3, this is sodium carbonate. The common name is soda ash. Now the beautiful part is, though this is hydrated, this is anhydrous, both are white in color. It's a group 1 salt. Similarly, barium salts, if they are hydrated also, they will always be white in color. Calcium salts, even if they are hydrated, they will be white in color. Are you understanding? Magnesium salt will be white in color. Magnesium sulfate, MgSO4.7H2O, also known as Epsom salt. That's knowledge ke liye. So, ye aayega. This will come in our thermal decomposition also. For example, I have a salt which is Fe2SO4, right? Fe2SO4 is ferrous sulfate. Fe2SO4 is ferrous sulfate. If Fe2SO4 has got, say, some X molecules of H2O, then it will be hydrated ferrous sulfate. So what I want you to remember right now is salts can be hydrated, can be anhydrous. Hydrated salts are usually colored. Under no circumstance an anhydrous salt will be colored. Under no circumstance. Right? Copper sulfate, if it is blue in color, then it is hydrated copper sulfate. If it is white in color, if you take copper sulfate and you start heating it, it will lose its color. Why? Because the water will start evaporating. Is this thing understood? Okay, though not in your syllabus, but we studied this for Cambridge. How would you check that something is water? How to test that something that is given in a test tube is water?
But
Many things boil. He's correct. How will you? Can you answer this without googling? How, if I've given you on, so one child also tastes at PK dekh lenge, I'll drink and see. So how will you understand that something in a test tube is water? The best point is the boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade. If for that the water has to be absolute pure sample. So if you boil it, it should be boiling at 100 degree, which will confirm that the test tube content is water. But every time boiling may not be possible. So in labs we use something which is known as cobalt paper. Cobalt paper. Cobalt paper is a strip. This is not there in CBSE, but you should know it's a strip which is blue in color. It's a blue colored strip. If water comes in contact with it, it becomes pink. That actually proves that it is water. Now, why that magic is happening? Cobalt paper is usually cobalt chloride, anhydrous. And when you are testing it with water, you are introducing some molecules of water to it. This starts showing you the color.
Hydrated salts like chemically combined.
Chemically combined.
So then who has reacted?
One by one, beta, one by one.
Who has reacted?
Yeah, H2O, once H2O comes, it will form as water of hydration. The molecule, as a whole molecule, it will patch up with this and it will show coloration. So that's a chemical reaction. That's a chemical reaction, no doubt about that. Substance changes means it becomes hydrated salt now. If you want its color to be lost, heat it and expel the water out. Yeah, your question, please.
What color is cobalt paper?
Cobalt paper, chemically in the market, they will be sold as pink in color, beta. Sorry, blue in color. And if you now suppose Shreya, you want to test this water or not, take 2 drops of that liquid and put it on that paper, or take the paper and just touch it here. If it turns, forensics, they test it a lot. If you see all these criminal X-Files and all, cobalt paper, but the cobalt paper is not in your syllabus. Just for your understanding, I brought this topic up. Another thing that I want to discuss is like the names of salts as us and ick. Us and ick. Us stands for, these are oxidation states. You will maybe a little bit tough for you to understand now. For example, I have an element iron. Iron can have salts which are ferrous, ferric. Iron shows 2 oxidation states, means iron can lose 2 electrons, iron can lose 3 electrons also. The higher oxidation state is always called ick. Lower is called us, ferrous, ferric. Similarly, copper, but in copper the case is different. Copper, lower oxidation state will always be us, but copper's lower oxidation state is +1, higher is +2. Cuprous, cupric. Remember this also. It helps in later cases. Ferrous, ferric, cuprous, cupric. Oxidation state means how many, see, metals are, let's take, for example, let's take the case of sodium, right? Sodium has got 11 electrons in it. So if you see the electronic configuration of sodium, it is 281. That's not a stable configuration. It needs 7 more electrons, and nobody is going to give you 7 electrons. So the best way is to kill this child. You will lose 1 electron. So if you lose 1 electron, 1 positive charge increases. So you now become what is known as a sodium ion, Na+. Similarly, iron can lose 2 also, iron can lose 3 also. That's why these are known as transition elements. They will show transition valencies, which you will learn in grade 12 and grade 11. Copper will also show dual transition, copper 1, copper 2. Have you understood? Just this much. There can be 2 different. So like copper oxide, we will see like this. CuO. this is copper oxide. Somebody will ask you, this is cuprous oxide or cupric oxide. How to find out? Oxygen is always -2 because oxygen gains 2 electrons. That means it should be +2. That means it is in this form. This will be known as cupric oxide, but in modern chemistry we will write it as copper 2 oxide. Trivial name will be cupric oxide. Cupric oxide. Again, you will see one more oxide of copper in this class itself. That is in this metals and non-metals, Cu2O. Now just check. This fellow is -2 and 2 coppers are balancing -2. That means each copper should be +1. That means this is cuprous oxide. I will write this as copper 1 oxide. Because in NCERT they will touch and go, they will not make the thing clear. I just want it to be clear so that your grade 11 becomes easy. Whenever you see metals, take a periodic table, print it and keep it. These are all D block elements. D block means these block elements. They will always show transition valency. The dual valencies they will show. So you will get a us salt and a ick salt. Us is the lower oxidation state, ick is the higher. Oxidation state we will cover when we do redox reactions. So 2 things you just learned. One is hydrated salts are colored. If the salt is not hydrated, I call it anhydrous. Non-hydrated we don't say, anhydrous. Anhydrous means it's thirsty for water. Hydrated means ekdam pura pani piya hua hai. Understood? Hydrated salts are usually colored, and we will learn colored salts only, right? And oxidation states can be +1 or +2. We call them cuprous or cupric. Okay. Next, another thing that I wanted to say, when we were dealing with exothermics, now these are some things that I brought down as a list today. Exothermic reaction. After reading the NCERT, I think I missed out on these. The decay, or I will use the word decomposition or decay. Now children get confused with the word decomposition. This is a question which comes in board because they know decomposition reactions are reactions which take in heat and they are endothermic. No, decomposition of vegetation or vegetable matter into compost. Remember this, is an exothermic reaction. Many kids make it a mistake. Just by looking at the word decomposition, they write it as endothermic. The exothermic reactions that we have studied as a part of our chapter are digestion, respiration, decomposition. This is something that I missed out. And another thing that I want to tell you, combustion of fuel. This is grade 8 stuff, okay? Obviously, exothermic. Combustion of fuel. Any fuel, when you burn it in oxygen, that is sufficient oxygen, it will always give you carbon dioxide, water vapor, and heat. Get this equation by heart. Carbon dioxide, water vapor, and heat. Any fuel. Now, one of the fuel that we learn is CH4, which stands for methane. Methane is the ingredient of natural gas, main constituent of natural gas. If you go to Delhi and Bombay and you see anyone cooking in piped gas, it is actually methane because that's PNG, piped natural gas. You are cooking in LPG in Hyderabad. So in Hyderabad, we are using ethane, which is C2H6, ethane. So any fuel, later on we'll find alcohol is also a fuel. Even if you burn alcohol in oxygen, you will get the same things, carbon dioxide, water vapor, and energy. Okay, is this much clear? I think these things I wanted to share with you. Okay. Based on that, online children, you can, if this is not clear, you can just see your textbook. So this is some questions that I picked up and we just wanted to discuss with you before we go ahead. The first question says, why should a magnesium ribbon be cleaned before burning in air? To scrape off. So you know this answer. Everyone knows the answer for this, to scrape off the oxide layer. Okay. The next one says, Write a balanced equation for the following. Hydrogen, balanced means it should be informative. Hydrogen, chlorine giving you hydrogen chloride, right? Hydrogen is a gas, so it will be H2 as in gaseous form, reacts with chlorine, which is Cl2 as in gaseous form, and gives you hydrogen chloride, which is 2HCl, right? So here 2HCl, we can write it in gaseous form. Later on, you will see hydrogen chloride is also hydrochloric acid. At that time, it will be in aqueous form. Clear? Next is, can you try the next one? Barium chloride. Now look at, barium is in which group? Or barium is in group 2. Group 2 means it will always be +2. So how many chlorines will come with it? 2 chlorines will come with it. Is this calculation understood by everyone? Why 2 chlorines with barium? Barium is group 2. So barium will always be Ba +2. It will lose 2 electrons. Chlorine is group 17 and it is Cl minus. 2 Cls will marry 1 barium. So barium chloride will be BaCl2. It is a salt. So we will write it as aqueous. Reacts with aluminium sulfate. So 4 yeah, Al2SO4 and it forms barium sulfate and aluminium chloride. Later you will see this is a double displacement reaction. Anna? See how my teacher used to teach me? Chloride was his girlfriend, became his girlfriend. Sulfate was his girlfriend, became his girlfriend. Double displacement. Single displacement is a sad story. With your BMW, you will take away somebody's girlfriend, but in double displacement, the other girlfriend goes with the other boyfriend. Happy story. Okay? Yes, sir. Please, go ahead.
Will it be 3BaCl2 plus 2Al2?
Yes.
It gives rise to 3BaSO4 plus 2Al2.
Right. We'll write and see. Okay. BaCl2 reacts with Al2SO4 whole 3 interchange BaSO4. Now look, SO4 is -2. SO4 is -2, Ba is +2. So it will just be BaSO4. Okay, na? Anytime you have a doubt, think of its acid, H2SO4. So it is always SO4 -2. And it forms AlCl3, aluminium chloride. Aluminium is group 3. So aluminium will be always AlCl3. Ananya, क्या problem है बोलो?
Cl having 2.
Cl फिर तुमको grade 9 में ले जाना पड़ेगा. चलो. Now we have to. Very good. I love these discussions. Aluminium is 3+. Cl is 1-. Om Sastina Swaha. Al takes 1. Cl takes 3. Mangalam. Marriage done. Now look at its charge. Each aluminium is +3. Each chlorine is -1 multiplied by 3, which is -3. Neutral. Yes. Shreya, tell me now. How much? What did you write? 2 BaCl. 3 BaCl2
2Al
gives you
3BaSO4
okay.
and 2Al.
Okay, we'll check up. Barium, 3 barium on this side, 3 barium. Satisfied. Chlorine, 6 chlorine, 6 chlorine. Satisfied. Then 4 aluminium, 2 aluminium.
Sir, it's not 2Al.
1 minute. Just let us keep it Al2, okay, for some time. Al2. 2Al, satisfied? So far, let's look at sulfur. 3 sulfur, 3 sulfur, fine. Then we are left with oxygen. 12. सही जवाब. 20,000 रुपए जीत गया. Pakka? Shreya, okay? Very good. No, we can make 101 mistakes, but I love the way you said so that we all got it clear. Now in exam, one mistake you will never do is putting 2. You will remember this date. That's what my sir used to say. You will forever remember, last दिन गलती किया था ना 2. ये 2. You can do mistake any other thing. And if you do this mistake again, then we are IDIOT. An IDIOT repeats the same mistake. A scientist makes new mistake. You know what is IDIOT, right? Let's spell this idiot. Oh, she was thinking. Okay, let's go back and check one more. Okay, try this one, beta. Sodium reacts with water to form sodium hydroxide and hydrogen. Sodium is Na. Sodium is what? Na. Na reacts with H2O, forms sodium hydroxide. What is sodium hydroxide also known as? What is this known as? King of base. It is the strongest base. It is known, लिख लो, ये सब काम में आता है. King of base is the king of base and produces hydrogen. What about the balancing?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
there will be 2Na plus H4 with 2NaOH.
Okay, 2Na. Then I have to make 2Na out here. Sodium balanced. Then hydrogen 2 plus 2, 4. So I add 2 out here. 4 hydrogen balanced. 2 oxygen. Sahi jawab. 40,000 he has earned. Only in form of love and kindness, not actual money. I have a grade 8 boy here who joins me from our society. He's in Rockwell. He was very curious to know who are the 3 from Rockwell in grade 10. I said, they are your bosses. They are in grade 10. He's now in grade 9. How many sections are there in your Rockwell, each class, beta? 4?
Doing CBSE and
Hasn't that big?
10.
I think there are 3 CB and 2.
3 CB. Oh, very small. Phoenix Green is record. How many you have? 9, 10, right? I. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. 9 sections. Do you know everyone's name? Not at all. 9 sections. How do you remember each other? We used to have only 2 sections, A and B. A for Acha, B for Bimar. Okay, next. Write down balanced chemical equation. Solution of barium chloride. Solution of barium chloride. So it should be like what? Aqueous, because it's a salt. And sodium sulfate in water. Sodium sulfate. Sodium sulfate. What should be the formula for sodium sulfate? Na2SO4. Very good. But it is in water. That means aqueous. React to give insoluble. Insoluble means papata. This is papata. Papata will come down. PPT. And then we'll give you a solution of sodium chloride. Shall we try this? Okay. Solution of barium chloride. Chalo, karo to. Solution of barium chloride. What is barium chloride? BaCl2. But it is a solution. So it is aqueous. Reacts with sodium sulfate. Sulfate is 2 minus. So this will be Na2SO4 aqueous. To give you an insoluble barium sulfate. Again, double displace reaction. See, it's a double displacement. It will be BaSO4 and it will give you sodium chloride. NaCl will be aqueous and this will be S.
Yes or no?
Hang on. Huh? Very nice question. How do we know that it will be BaSO4? First class you were present? No, otherwise I'll teach. SO4 is always 2 minus. Barium comes from group 2. So share 1 minute. So Ba2 plus. And it will be solid S because they have written that it's an insoluble and you will put an arrow down to show that this is PPT. Acha, is it balanced?
So we have to balance.
So please balance it. Do the honors. So 2 times knuckle and that's it. So let's check. 1 barium, chlorine rendu and rendu chlorine gone, rendu sodium gone, okka sulfur gone, 4 oxygen, chala undi. All correct. All smart chaps. I have huge expectation from this batch then. Sodium hydroxide solution in water. NaOH aqueous. Bakul, all these are coming Greek and Latin, beta. Huh? something Russian. Slobodoska Smilodoski. Okay. Sodium hydroxide is like Slobodoska Miskolovich. Acetandehyl process, hydrochloric acid. Also now it's also Latin. Sodium hydroxide is NaOH. Aqueous reacts with hydrochloric acid solution. So it will be HCl AQ. Will give you what? Produce?
Yeah.
Okay, this reaction is very nice. Sodium hydroxide is a base. A base will always react with an acid to produce a salt and water. Asur Devta reaction. This is known as neutralization. Yeah, Bitu, tell me. Okay, should we write it? So let me write it. And then you can, I'll write, correct me if I'm going wrong. So it will be sodium hydroxide, arc of Noah, reacts with Hakal to give you Nakal, aqueous, NaCl aqueous, and H2O. Okay, is it balanced? Sodium 1, this is a balanced equation. Oxygen 1, hydrogen 1, 1, 2, hydrogen 2, chlorine 1, chlorine 1. Auto balanced. Nothing to be done. Shall we go ahead? They might check you, na? Right. So let's go ahead. Did I miss out anything else? No, not. Okay. So we start with types of reaction. I will be spending a lot of time on single displacement and redox reaction. The first two are very easy. Okay. The first reaction is known as combination reaction. For you CBSEians, in ICSE they will study it as addition reaction. Combination is also known as addition reaction. Combination reaction. A combination reaction is typically shown as an A with a B reacts to form and give you AB. Okay. Two or more reactants react to give you one output or one product. That's called a combination reaction. Pretty easy. So we can take a lot of examples. Carbon reacting with oxygen giving me carbon dioxide. This is a combination reaction. Hydrogen reacting with oxygen to giving me dihydrogen oxide, which you drink every day as water. Okay. Hydrogen reacting with nitrogen, forming a gas which is known as ammonia. So this is 3 and 2. Ammonia. Ammonia gas was actually, ammonia's manufacturing process was invented by a German chemist called Fritz Haber. Fritz Haber's life is very bad. Whatever he did was used in mankind only for bad things. Yes, tell me.
Sir, isn't the electropositive element written like before? So why is nitrogen written for hydrogen?
No, nothing like that.
No, sir, in the compound.
In the compound, ammonia is always written as NH3 because later on you will find ammonium as an ion is the only non-metallic cation. इसके केस में exception है. All cations are metallic. Na plus, Ba plus, Al plus, Zn2 plus. This is the only non-metallic cation. बातों बातों में ये भी लिख के रख लीजिए. Otherwise, only anions are non-metallic. This is the only non-metallic. हाँ बच्चा बोलो. अनुराग.
Which Haber the Haber
Haber process. Haber process is the industrial process of manufacturing ammonia. But during Second World War, this was utilized for all wrong deeds. So much so that Fritz Haber's wife also left him later in. Everything that he made, people used it for destruction of mankind. ऐसा थोड़ी थोड़ी छोटी छोटी बातें जानने के लिए हमारे चैनल को देखते रहिएगा. Shall we go ahead? Combination reactions. A reaction in which two or more reactants react together to give you single product. Nobody will ask you a question from combination reaction because this is a very easy one. And if you are unable to do it correctly, that means you should always take the broken shell of a coconut, fill it with water and try to immerse yourself in it, which in Hindi is called chule par pani mein doob marna. Very good. Let's go to the next one, known as decomposition reaction. 5 different reactions are studied in your course. So decomposition. Decomposition means breakdown. Breaking down. Now breaking down means bendo. Such reactions will be energy intensive. They will always need energy. Obviously, you have a unity of people. You have to do a conspiracy to break that unity, right? So breaking down, and this breakdown will always involve energy. And this energy will be coming in three different forms. It can come in the form of heat. It can come in the form of light, or light, and it can come in the form of electricity. Sir, how about sound energy? And now you have not seen, that is not that much intense. Such reactions will be known as thermal decomposition. These will be known as photo decomposition. This will be known as electrolysis. Paralysis means when your organs fail to work. Electrolysis means when you separate. Paralysis is separating the organ from the body part. Electrolysis. Right? So let's see one by one. So we go back to that reaction. No, SO4. Yeah, FeSO4. Okay, now see here. Sulfur is -2. That means iron is at +2 out here.
So it's Fe2O3, right?
Fe2O3. Yeah. Here it will be Fe2O3. Sorry. So here it will be Fe2O3. Sorry. Now look at this reaction. This is there in your book, so some questions might be asked from this particular equation. Now, sulfur is -2, so iron is +2. And look here, oxygen is -2. Overall, how much is it? -6. Two of them, so this is +3. So this will be known as ferrous. This will be known as ferric. So ferrous sulfate is actually burning, or say getting heat, to produce ferric oxide, and will produce sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. Now when you see ferrous sulfate as a salt won't come as ferrous sulfate. This will be hydrated. So a question may be put to you that on heating this sample, what is the thing that you will observe? It will lose color, or it will change its color. Why it is changing its color? Because the water of, not sulfur, there is a water of hydration. See, every time the water of hydration is not exactly quantified that as 7H2O, 6H2O, 8H2O, they may write as .xH2O also. Like rust. What is rust? Rust is iron 3,2,3,4 oxide, iron 2,3 oxide, Fe3O4.xH2O. There can be as many as one. So this can qualify as thermal decomposition. This also qualifies for change in color. Okay, there's a change in color because there is a water of hydration involved out here. Similarly, we can have something called calcium carbonate, CaCO3. If you heat it, it will form calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Now get the trivial names also. What is the yeah, this is limestone. What is the trivial name for this? Quicklime, and this is carbon dioxide. ये भी लिख लीजिए. Yeah, see.
Sir, are we got the observations for the ferrous sulfate reaction?
I didn't get you. Better come again.
Sir, like, don't we have to write the observation like oxide is reddish brown?
No, not reddish brown. You should know that. See, whenever it is +2 salts will be usually greenish in color, and these will be reddish in color, reddish brown in color. You need not write down these things, but I'm saying you should know these things, that when a question is asked to you that why did the color change, because in NCERT book it is very tricky. If they have mentioned a word for it, they have the right to ask a question whether they have explained it correctly or not. This salt will usually come hydrated. Once the water of hydration is lost, the coloration will be lost. And this is a +2 salt, this is a +3 salts. All +3 salts are reddish brown. All +2 salts of iron are greenish in color. Yes.
Sulfate equation should be Fe2SO4 whole 2
Why whole 2?
because that is only balance.
No, sulfate is, it is already coming at +2 oxidation state. This is -2. They have neutralized. Equation you balance now. Balance the equation. Try to balance.
That
No, we can't add bracket. Balancing is allowed only by adding coefficients. Can you balance this? We have got how many oxygens on this side? 3 plus 3, 6 plus 2, 8. So if you put 2 out here, so just job is done. 2 Fe, 2 Fe. Then sulfur 2, 2 sulfurs. 8 oxygens, 8 oxygens. ठीक है? Which one? No, this is not white in color. See, they won't ask you this is white in color or not. They will see what you should know. They can tell you that FeSO4 hydrated ferric sulfate. This question might not come in this chapter. It might come in acid, bases and salt. Hydrated ferrous sulfate will always have a color. And ferrous salts are green in color. When I say ferrous salts are green, means the ferrous salt is already hydrated. Here they won't ask you that question directly, whether it is what you call green or reddish or something. What you should know, that all ferrous salts will be green in color. That means they are hydrated. All ferric salts will be reddish brown. Agar pucha to, nobody goes in that level. Okay, one more equation that we have is lead nitrate. Now look, nitrate is NO3. Nitrate comes from nitric acid, HNO3. So H is +1, NO3 -1. Reacting with lead. Lead is +2. So nitrate will be 2. So lead nitrate. Thermal decomposition. Heat it. Will give you lead oxide plus nitrous oxide or nitrogen dioxide, sorry, and will give you oxygen. Again, don't get so much worried about. CBSE will never ask you that what happens when this is heated. ऐसे नहीं आएगा. They'll give you a word equation. You know what is word equation? They will say the thermal decomposition of lead nitrate yields lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. Write a balanced chemical equation. That is how you might get the question. So you should be able to interpret what is lead nitrate. That time you cannot say lead nitrate is PbNO or NO3 or NO3 twice. That much idea you should have. If it was zinc nitrate, what would have been the formula?
ZnNO3
Whole 2, because Zn forms what? See, suppose we don't know it. Use your common sense. What is a zinc salt? Zinc chloride. What is the formula? ZnCl2, which means Zn is always +2. It's trying to marry nitrate. So ZnNO3 twice. If this was with magnesium, MgNO3. If this was with aluminium, NO3 is 1 minus. Aluminium is 3 plus. No, I'm coming to it, Shreya. Aluminium nitrate. Okay, with magnesium. Magnesium is in group 2. Children, just though not in your syllabus, once remember this. Although this I say it in Hindi, it's very easy. Beta, beryllium, mangue, magnesium, car, calcium. These 3 you need to know. Scooter, strontium, Sr. BAP, barium, Razi, radium. Beta, mangue, car, scooter, BAP. You should know these 4. All these are group 2. So Shreya, we had magnesium. So magnesium will be a +2. You are trying to marry with what? Sulfate, who is -2. Sir, how do you know sulfate is -2? Look at the salt of acid of sulfate, H2SO4. That means it will ionize to 2H and SO4. 2H is, each H is +1. So 2H makes it +2. That means SO4 must be -2. Now see Shreya. So you do the same formula out here. the formula is Mg2SO4 2, but 2 and 2 cancel each other, MgSO4. Had this been sodium, it would have been Na2SO4. Clear? So these three. Then we see some photo decomposition. Photo decomposition, we have silver chloride, AgCl. Silver is +1. Okay. So photo is shown in this manner. Sunlight. 1, 2, 3. This is called sunlight. Jo marzi yaar. You should write sunlight. Ag plus Cl2. So make it 2, 2. Similarly, you will see for silver bromide also. These are earlier days in photography, we used to use this equation. Silver bromide, it will give you bromine. What is the speciality of bromine? Tell me.
No, liquid, non-metal.
The entire periodic table has got everything in metals and gases. There are only two liquids. One is given to non-metal and one is given to metal. Bromine is the only non-metal which is liquid in room temperature. Mercury is the only metal which is liquid in room temperature. Bromine or bromine, as you say, and 2Ag. Remember, these are used earlier days. So while giving such reaction in competency-based question, they may say that this reaction pertains to one of the process of black and white photography. First of all, you don't even know what is black and white photography. Have you seen a black and white photograph? You know, in earlier days, when studios used to dispose this, jewelers used to collect this particular liquid. Why? Silver milega. And the color of silver chloride will become gray in color. Actually, silver chloride, if you see in lab, it is just shiny liquid, silver. But if you keep it prolonged with and under the influence of sunlight, it will slowly turn gray. The gray is because the silver is separating out and it's getting oxidized. Right. Then comes electrolysis. H2O. If you pass electricity, so you will get hydrogen as a gas and oxygen as a gas. So 2H2 gives this. Okay. Now look at this reaction. Suppose it was one molecule of H2O. If it is 1, this also becomes 1 and this becomes half. So in other sense, we will say by volume, how much do you expect? Hydrogen's volume will be twice the volume of oxygen. Whenever we electrolyze water, we will get twice the volume of hydrogen as compared to the volume of oxygen. But if you go by mass, say this will be, suppose you take it in this manner. H2O gives me H2 plus half O2. Do you agree? H2 means each hydrogen is 1. So this is 2 times. And oxygen, twice of oxygen. Twice of oxygen means each oxygen is 8 to 16. 16's double is 32. 32's half again is 16. Again, if you take this ratio, it will be 1:8. Oxygen will be 8 times as heavy as, remember this always. Generally in CBSE, they ask the question on volume. Why do you expect twice the volume of hydrogen? The balanced equation shows us that for every 2 molecules of water, we get 2 molecules of hydrogen and 1 molecule of oxygen. Therefore, hydrogen's output is 2 times the output of this. Okay? कुछ तो चैटिंग मार रहा है तुम लोग दोनों, अली एंड अनुराग. 100%. See, my question is what you know. I can only say, I can't prove it, but all this hair on my head, they have not become, I color my hair, obviously, I don't hide that. They have not become white by standing under the sun. Now the responsibility is on you, just like the football anthem. Touch your heart and say, children, cross your heart that you'll always tell the truth. I have put my thing that both of you were chatting. Otherwise, both cannot laugh. One stays in Shakepet, one stays in Financial District. How can they laugh at the same time? Are they gods or what, that they travel at the speed of light? Something. And if Shreya was also chatting, say suppose, then I really give her a medal because she can mask. Her face was absolutely without any expression, which gives the benefit of doubt, like we say in cricket, na? Pitching outside the off, hitting the stumps, umpire's call. So as per umpire's call, I feel this girl did not chat, but this to the pura pitching online, hitting wickets, review retained. You're on big screen now. Can you put your finger up? Yes, he's out. Shreya has disconnected from the call. Maybe she could not hold it further. है ना? So, bhai sahab, my najar goes. Now you can deny. That's a separate thing because I don't have a proof. I can only say, like mangoes. Mangoes are very sweet. Can you have any meter for sweetness? Now you agree or not agree, it's up to you. Okay, this one done. So what is the type of question that you can expect in case of hydrogen water? That why is the volume twice? The volume is twice because for every 2 molecules of water electrolyzed, we get 2 molecules of hydrogen and 1 molecule of oxygen. That's for twice volume. And this is for your knowledge, that when you see them by weight, then oxygen's weight will be 8 times. पैदा कम होगा लेकिन भारी ज्यादा होगा. समझ में आ रहा है? Very good. Shall we? So this concludes our discussion on decomposition and what you call combination reactions. Okay, decomposition reactions will always be endothermic. Why? Because the word itself is decomposition. Decomposition by means of energy input, energy in the form of heat, light, or electricity. So whenever energy is consumed, it is endothermic. And you also know bendo, you are breaking the bonds to form new bonds. ठीक है? चले आगे. Now we will see something called displacement reaction. Displacement reaction. Okay, before learning displacement reaction, although CBSE does it in one, we will learn as two, which is known as single and double. Sir?
Are we not going to do the electrolysis of water diagram?
Electrolysis of water diagram?
Instead of the cathode H2 gas.
Don't worry. Okay. Try to remember this, it will help you in your grade 12. Please stop calling me a zebra. Instead of zebra, we will add another word here. Caring zebra. Please stop calling me a caring zebra. Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. This will help you remember the reactivity series of metal. Please stands for potassium. Stop stands for sodium. Calling stands for calcium. Me stands for magnesium. This is for aluminium. Now here is a catch. Caring C. C stands for carbon. But sir, this is a non-metal. Why did you bring it here? For some reason. Zebra stands for zinc. Instead, iron. Tri for tin. Learning, lead. Copper, copper. Saves, silver. Gold, AU. And between learning and copper, I have another one non-metal, which is hydrogen. In grade 11, you will study something called electrochemistry. There you will need, in 10, we will use the hydrogen part here. Carbon you will be using in grade 11. Carbon, we show people who are stronger than carbon or weaker than carbon. 1 minute. And hydrogen. So how to read this chart? This is called the reactivity series. What is reactivity series? A series which has been made in which the reactivity of the metals are arranged in descending order. Potassium being the most reactive, and gold being the least reactive. Please stop calling me a caring zebra. Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. Right? Yes.
So would it be how copper must save gold? Yeah, mercury.
First of all, you absorb this. Mercury is considered as non-reactive. Okay. How copper saves gold? आपको mercury डालना, we can add platinum also. Beyond gold, the least reactive is platinum also. What will be more essential for you in your these classes will be that you should know at least up till this much part. Some questions will be based on this. Stannum, tin also known as stannum. And when we go to acid, bases and salt, we will see that certain elements can displace hydrogen from acid. You will find that copper cannot displace hydrogen from hydrochloric acid. What is the reason? Copper is weaker than hydrogen. ये हमें acid, bases and salt में काम आएगा. For right now, you should know that sodium, potassium, these are dangerous people. That's why you have learnt in grade 8 also. Potassium, sodium is stored under kerosene. The reaction is not dangerous, it's vigorous, we say. Once it comes in contact with moisture, it will immediately start burning. Then calcium, magnesium, aluminium. Aluminium is highly reactive. You have never seen aluminium. The moment you see aluminium, it oxidizes. Scratch an aluminium vessel, that's the only moment you see aluminium. After that, it immediately will form oxide. But the question comes, as I always used to say, that in grade 8 we used to learn, define galvanization. Galvanization is a process in which articles of zinc are coated with, no, in which articles made up of iron are coated with molten zinc. Now the question is, zinc is far more reactive. Why are you coating iron with more reactive galvanization? Because, right, because iron articles like iron buckets and all, they are always coated with zinc. They are just dipped in molten zinc. Zinc is far more reactive. You want to save iron, you are reacting it with something more. Because zinc will react with oxygen to form zinc oxide. And once zinc oxide is formed, you cannot penetrate it. Similar is the case with tin also. All these Coca-Cola cans and all, they will all be tinned. Condensed milk, Milkmaid. Once they form that protective layer, it is very difficult to penetrate. In ships, we always coat with magnesium. The sonar dome is coated with magnesium. We are so reactive. But because if once magnesium forms magnesium oxide, सलमान खान पूरा एक बार जो मैंने कमिटमेंट दे दी तो मैं अपनी भी नहीं सुनता हूं. Remember this. Potassium, sodium. So based on this, we will now study what is single displacement and double displacement. I'll go a little bit deeper than your book. So let's take a common example, which is zinc reacts with copper sulfate, right, to produce zinc sulfate and releases copper. Okay. Now this is solid, this is aqueous, this is aqueous, this is solid. Before understanding the reaction in equation manner, let us see practicality of this equation. Okay. So we will be taking a beaker, and this beaker will have copper sulfate aqueous in it. So what will be the color of this? The color of this will be absolutely coral blue, something like this, coral blue. This is copper sulfate, CuSO4, and you brought a zinc strip to it. Suppose I am showing it with gray. You have actually put a zinc strip in it. Okay, this is a zinc strip which you have put. So the first thing you will find, copper sulfate will transform to zinc sulfate. So the blue color will be lost. Understood? And copper will be released. This copper will be actually golden in color. Copper is golden in color. All these AC pipes are made up of copper, but you'll see, sir, those AC pipes are black. That's because corrosion has happened. So those copper will be settling up on this zinc strip as yellow, 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 golden, golden deposits. I don't know. This is how the reaction will look like. Have you understood? In a beaker, take copper sulfate, which is blue in color, dip a piece of zinc in it. The copper sulfate will lose its color from blue color, and granules of golden granules will be seen on the zinc strip. The golden granules are this copper. The coloration loss is from this to this. Now we will see this reaction in detail. both from ionic as well as ionic you don't know, so we'll see that part also. Now if I go in the reactivity series, then zinc is way ahead of copper. Zinc is more reactive. Now just watch my stylus. A reaction in which a higher reactive metal or an element displaces a lesser reactive element or a metal from its salt and combines and forms its own salt and releases the metal is a single displacement reaction. Though your book does not cover single double separately, but you should study it separately. Single displacement, higher reactive metal displaces a lower reactive metal from its salt, releases it, and in turn forms a salt out here. Is this one understood?
But what is the reactivity series based on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the reactivity series? The reactivity series is based on standard hydrogen potential, which you will, that's why that hydrogen was there. This you will learn in grade 11. We will make a cell and we will compare with it. So let's see this reaction overall. How this reaction, the mechanism of this reaction, member request. Okay. Tomorrow grade 9 is starting their classes. So stitch in time. So let's see the mechanism of this reaction. If you understand this mechanism, it will help you identify redox reactions later, not by your book, but by a detailed process. So let's see zinc. Okay, ZnSO4. ZnSO4 aqueous actually comprises of two ions, that is Zn2 plus and SO4 2 minus. Do you agree? Okay. Similarly, CuSO4 aqueous will dissociate into Cu plus 2 and give you SO4 minus 2. Agreed? Now let's see how this reaction happens. ये समझोगे तब आपको easy लगेगा, otherwise you will be just memorizing it like a parrot. Okay. Zinc loses 2 electrons to form zinc ions and loses 2 electrons. Understand, first understand, then you write. Zinc will lose 2 electrons and form zinc plus ions. Understood? Copper sulfate aqueous will dissociate to form copper 2 plus and SO4 2 minus. Have you understood? Now in that solution, there is this girlfriend and 2 boyfriends competing between for her. This is how my sir used to teach me. I'm teaching you same way. If you want to lead it other way. 2. These 2 will be competing for this. Which is the more reactive ion? Zinc is a more reactive ion. And then I'll tell you how my sir used to say. Zinc plus 2 starts combining with SO4 minus 2 and forms ZnSO4 aqueous. Who is left behind? Copper is left behind. ये रो रहा है अभी. Then these electrons are absorbed by it and it forms copper. So my sir was a Malayali sir. He used to say zinc loses 2 electrons to form zinc plus 2. The copper sulfate dissociates into copper and sulfate. जिंक कॉपर को भगा के इसको बाइक में बिठा के ले जाता है. ये कॉपर रोते रोते takes 2 electrons and is a stag alone at the end of the day. At least he is happy. Till date I remember. I have not told the full part because that I'll share when we do redox reaction. Have you understood? They might trick you with something like this. Cu plus ZnSO4 gives you CuSO4 plus Zn. Mathematically, there is nothing wrong in this equations. Equations don't make reactions. Reactions are portrayed by equation. ये लिख सकते हो, but in reality, this will never happen because this fellow does not have BMW and a Rolex on his wristwatch to compete with this fellow. Understood? But reverse is possible. So sometimes they will ask a question, is this a reaction? Is this balanced? Is this an equation? This is an equation, but this does not represent a reaction. So the story comes, sometimes you say, na, sir, Google ye bata raha hai. Google has been made by us. Reactions are portrayed by equations. Equation se reaction nahi banta hai. Clear? Single displacement reaction. So in a single displacement reaction, a more reactive metal will displace a less reactive metal from its salt solution to form its own salt and liberate that metal. And typically throughout the years, the only question we see is on this one only. And Anurag, you were saying about electrolysis. Electrolysis is something that we are doing from grade 7. Take a mug, make 2 holes, put 2 carbon rods, connect it to a 6-volt battery, take 2 test tubes, fill them with water, fill the mug with water, invert them and put in. Switch on the supply and slowly you will see bubbling. And then bring a lighted matchstick near the test tubes. Care should be taken by the teacher to move her face away while doing it, because hydrogen may burn with pop sound. And you will observe that the volume of one gas is twice the other. And you should ask now, sir, which side hydrogen will go? Hydrogen is H plus, so it will go to the negative. And oxygen is O minus, so it will go to the positive. Yeah, Betu.
From this reaction, we are like want you not displace the end because the end is more reactive.
Wow. Wow.
We just
My dear son, have you watched 3 Idiots? Yes or no? Just give me that answer.
Yes.
So please rewind 3 minutes of my lecture. I was saying about Farhan nitrate and pre-rajulization. These are not any reactants. They are my classmates Farhan and Raju. Beta, what I was saying, that they might disguise you with this sort of a equation, saying that does this happen? This does not happen. Draupadi never married Lord Rama. One is from Mahabharata, one is from Ramayana. Understood? Great. I will recommend you for the Nobel Prize this year through a letter of recommendation. So double displacement we will take up in our next class. The reaction that I showed today, please observe it carefully. This is not in your book. The ionic reaction part, this part, this part. How many of you understood this story? If you understand this story, you will be able to decode every redox reaction. And I am not going to teach you redox reaction by either the Lakshmi Singh way or the NCRT way. You will become the BAP of redox reaction. Any reaction you will see, you will be balancing. You have learned redox also. You will learn. In redox, we will learn it as rig and oil. Rig. Acha, 2 minutes. Since you are closing your book, so I felt like disturbing. I will study redox like this, rig and oil. Reduction is gain of electrons, oxidation is loss of electrons. So with that criteria, who lost electrons? Zinc. Zinc got oxidized. Who gained electrons? Copper got reduced. Oxidation means kalankit ho jana, so nice face, scars, my teacher used to say. Reduction means apply all good creams and the scars gone away and you become the reduced element. ये है oxidation. इसको इसलिए लिखाया. अगली कहानी अगले week. Okay. Rangarang, nobody brought any doubt list, by the way, and I'll see in our next physics class if there is an. I expect some doubts to come up in physics class. That is not so easy to absorb. Okay. See you all on Saturday, not Saturday, Friday. Until then.